Okay, welcome. This is title of this video should be Understanding Your 251s, its need for good voice leading, and how to play them. Of course, basically this is just how to play your 251s. This is the second 251 video I have done. This one is to be viewed with the other one, really. The other one was how to spot them. This one is how to understand your 251's need for good voice leading, and of course how to play them. The banging on about the voice leading you'll see when we go to the piano, but it is exceptionally important if you play a 251 this way. It's not going to grab you anywhere like this way would. So why the 251? Well, why 251s? Why? Okay. Now they're not the only chord progression. Why have I chosen these? Basically, because they are the most common chord progressions. Arguably, we could say 6251 perhaps, or just the 25, but derivatives of the 251 is a very common chord progression in jazz, so it's going to help. It's going to help to learn your chords in progressions. It makes them more musical. And of course, it's also a great way to practice the sounds that you've learned so far. The minor 7, or that one. The major 7, or the dominant 7. In 1, 3, 7 voicings, or as I sometimes refer to them as my safety net voicings. That's about 70% of your chords. So by practicing and learning your 251s around all 12, that's important. Get them into all keys. Don't have weak keys. They always come and haunt you when you're live, usually. So don't have weak keys. Take it from me. Learn around all 12, and then you've got 70% of your chords sorted out. You can always ask someone else in the band for help with some of the others, or watch the videos as we move on to more sophisticated voicings. Now, we're only doing major 251s, so the harder voicings will come when we do the minor 251s. They will come into some chords you probably aren't familiar with yet. The minor has some different types of voicings which we have to go into, and I think that will be considered a little bit more advanced. Therefore, this is the end video of your basic course. This is not really that basic, this video, but as it's probably the end of the book or the end of the project, it's all right for it to be a little trickier. And this way, you can actually really start getting stuck into your jazz. You should celebrate now once you've finished this video, because you will have finished whole basics of this practical piano course. You get these down, including the other videos. Now, other videos to think of is, of course, how to spot your 251s, which is the one you should have watched before you watch this one. But of course, there's also the properties of minor 7, dominant 7, and major 7. Each of those have a separate video, and they're worthwhile doing. You know, minor 7, dominant 7, major 7, what makes up those different sounds, why we leave the 5 out, that type of thing. So that would be worthwhile checking, although you might know it, so that would be fine. Carry on with the video. And of course, the other ones that sometimes confuse people is the degrees of the scale versus degrees of the chord. How else can you put this? You know, we number the chords like 1, 3, 7 within a D minor 7 chord, but of course there's another numbering system that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and makes that D minor 7 chord also a 2 chord in C major. Check those videos out. That can be confusing, and it has been confusing for some of my students. So I feel it's worthwhile spending some time there. Of course, ask questions. I love questions, and it's great to talk to you on through the site. Otherwise, let's get on to the voice leading and how to play the 251s. This is going to give you big dividends, playing the 251s and getting them around your hands in all 12 keys. Now, as you've probably noticed, as I've been talking, I've been knocking a few out just to keep something going on the screen, but also so as you can hear them, right? And what am I doing to them? You notice I'm not playing. There's an A minor 7, right? There's a D7. Here's a G major 7. That would be 2, 5, 1 in G major, but I'm not playing that. It really, in some respects, doesn't work. Okay, you might want specifically that sound and therefore say, oh, it does work, that's exactly what I wanted. Yeah. Let's move on to what actually works a little better. And a little better is what we call good voice leading. That's why your 251 needs good voice leading to work properly and to be a good safety net voicing with any band or situation that you're playing. So what we're going to talk about is the thirds and the sevenths. Okay, and I'm going to do these in 2 keys, the G key, A minor 7 first, sorry. Let's do the G key. So we're going to start on the 2 of the A minor 7, and then we're going to go to the 5, which is D7, and then we're going to go to the 1, which is G major 7. Now in there is good voice leading. It's harder to see when I do it that way, so this time we're going to do it without the roots. He says hopefully. There's your A minor 7, there's your D7, there's your G major 7. That's without the roots. Very useful voicings. I'll put them up as well. But what we're getting is, if we look at this slowly, here's your A minor 7, and we take the G at the top, that's the 7th. When it goes to the next chord, it only drops a semitone to become the 3rd of the next chord, which is your D7, and then it just stays put to become the 7th of your final chord, which is the 1 chord, the G major 7. That's pretty cool, eh? And that's defined your whole 251 progression. Yeah. Now let's take the bottom voice, or it's not quite the bottom because we're not thinking about the roots, right? But so that is now going to stay put to become, that was the 3rd of the A minor 7. Now it's going to stay put to become the 7th of the D7, and it's just going to drop a semitone to become the 3rd of the next chord, the G major 7, right? That makes great voice leading. The 3rd and the 7th, as we have discussed, but I'll say it again, really define yourself for jazz. If you're thinking classically, you're probably thinking 1 and 5 as a more definition of the chords as important chord tones to use, but in jazz it's the 3 and the 7th. So there it's using those as guide tones, they're sometimes called, but the 3rd and the 7th will always define your voicing. So let's invert that, right? That's one of the groups that you're going to learn. Let's invert that up to here. So we're still thinking A minor 7. There's 1, 3, 7. Now here's the voicing we're looking for. So let's take the upper voicing, the C. C is the 3rd of the chord. It's going to stay put to become the 7th, and then it's going to go down a semitone to become the 3rd of the G major 7. So and now we're going to move it on to thinking about the 7th, or the lower note of the voicing. So the 7th is going to drop to become the 3rd of the D7 chord, and then it's going to stay put to become the 7th of the G major 7 chord. So 3 and 7 really important. So there's the voice leading. There's it in both hands. Okay, now we're going to keep that going, keep those thoughts going. So don't panic if you haven't got it, because we're now just going to move to another key and do it in another key. B flat major, here's F scale. Never hurts to just put that in our mind. 2 flats, B flat, E flat. Okay, let's start on 2. 2 is C, and it's C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7, a 2, 5, 1 and B flat major. Now let's come out, do it without
the root, and you can hear both voices moving in good voice leading. Now let's show them to you. Upper voice is the B flat, which is the 7th of the C minor 7, which drops the semitone to become the 3rd of the F7, and then stays put to become the 7th of the B flat major 7, which is your 1 chord. So there it is, just nicely doing its voice leading in a 2-5-1 and B flat major 7. Gonna cough, sorry. Alright, now we're just gonna take the bottom voice of that. So of course we're ignoring the roots. The bottom voice is the E flat. It's the 3rd of the C minor 7. It stays put to become the 7th of the F7, and it drops a semitone to become the 3rd of the B flat major 7. Once more, yeah, why not? 3rd of the C minor 7, 7th of the F7, 3rd of the B flat major 7. Let's just invert that, right? So we were doing. Now let's make our minor 7 chord a smaller chord, coming off the 7th and going out to a bigger chord for the F7 chord, coming off the root, and then come off the 7th. It's just the opposite to what we're doing. So here we have the 7th dropping a semitone from the C minor 7th to the 3rd of the F dominant 7 chord, and then staying put to become the 7th of the B flat major 7 chord. Let's do that again. The 7th, so we're looking at the lower ones. Sorry if you were expecting me to do the upper. Come down to, sorry, the 7th, the C minor 7th, drops a semitone to become the 3rd of the F7, which is the 5-7 chord, and then stays put to become the root of the B flat major 7 chord. And it's not the root, sorry, become the 7th of the B flat major 7 chord. So let's do the bottom, so let's do the upper voicing. That always happens when I do things around the wrong way. Doesn't matter. As long as we get this 3rd and 7th thing in our mind, we'll be good. Okay, so here we go. The 3rd of your C minor 7 chord is an E flat. It stays put to become the 7th of your F7 chord, and then drops a semitone to become the 3rd of your B flat major 7 chord. Now I reckon you've probably got that. I've gone on about that a bit, possibly even a bit much, but yeah, that's me. And just keep watching that until you get it. The main thing is that 3rd and 7th movement creates good voice leading. Now, we can take that a little further. I know I was only going to show you one voicing, but here's another way of doing these voicings. Once you get used to doing this, which is putting on... Oh, no, not that. Don't do that. No. Once you get used to doing this, and then perhaps just moving around other keys and doing it round all 12. Now, when I say round all 12, I really mean that. All the different voicings, all round all 12. So that's 24 progressions you've got to learn. And don't think that you can read your way through it. They've got to be instinctively in your hands. Okay, so once you've got them around all 12, you might consider learning them this way without the roots. This is a lovely way to play with the bass player. Gives them more room to move. Sorry about the cough. Going to grab my tea shortly. See that was the A minor 7 one. A minor 7, D7, G7. And you can do it from the other position as well. A minor 7, D7, G7. Sometimes when you're in a band, you've got a lot of stuff going on. You can just glue the whole band together with that. And everyone else is doing all sorts of other stuff. Someone will always be on the root. Don't worry about the root, yeah? Okay, now we'll do that in the C minor one as well. Well, C minor being the 2. So it's B flat major 7. Here's our first voicing. Right. We've talked about the 3rd and the 7th. Now watch it as a rootless voicing. And it's probably the first rootless voicing, although I've got more sophisticated ones to show you later on, that you'll learn. It's really, really useful. It leaves the root out and covers the chord. Let's do it up here. C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. Just come back to the 3rd and 7s. C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. If you really want to hear that, like, there's no need. There'll be a bass player doing all that. Okay, so these are your safety nets. These will give you a bit more space. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little sheet up of some ones to start your practice of. The 2-5-1s in the some different keys. This voicing and also this type of voicing. As I say, learn them round all 12, all of them. If you want the sheets that I give to my students, send me your email address and I'll email you some PDFs. I suggest you learn them from memory. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video on 2-5-1 chord progressions.
Alright, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And, sorry, it's a fly. Please subscribe. And don't forget to click notifications. Thanks very much. Bye, guys.